What's up, jobbers, and welcome to the latest edition of the Jobber Knocker podcast. As always, is Nestlemania alongside for the ride is a man that is not the baddest of bunnies, but he's pretty cool, JC. I can hear the click, clack, and it's just like, that's worse than grasshoppers.
Yeah, just trying to no sell your joke because it wasn't good.
Listen. What did you want me to say? Do you want me to say that he wouldn't last a second in the ring with Brock Lesnar in a San Ron street fight? Like, what do you want me to say?
I mean, Bad Bunny went head to head with Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble and looked pretty good. So,
sure. All right. So we have a lot to talk about here on the program. We are going to talk Backlash. We're going to talk about all this sort of nonsense that happens in wrestling here. Should we start off with Backlash itself?
Yeah, we should lash some backs, baby, because it's Backlash, back and Backlash. Yeah, in Nestlemania, this was a really fun event. And off the top, that fucking crowd, man. That was one of the better, like, obviously non-WrestleMania, whatever crowds we've had in like forever. But it just, what makes me really happy about this is that it's going to make WWE do more of these events outside of the States and out of just like Europe. Like they're already talking about Australia, which especially with a lot of the young Aussie superstars that they're coming up through the system. Like I think that's exciting. So right off the bat, that was my big takeaway from the weekend is how fucking awesome that crowd was, that atmosphere, and obviously the show delivered too.
So I thought that Friday I think I texted you and said like this crowd is ridiculous. Like they are making matches that don't matter. Like we're gonna kind of go past SmackDown like we normally do on a premium live event week. But I mean, I just wanted to state that Puerto Rico, if I had my hat on, I'd take it off and give you the tip of the cap, excuse me, because you guys made that entire weekend so much fun. You are top 3, I would say, in terms of wrestling international crowds. And that was just fantastic. I mean, just seeing how the LWO, Rey Mysterio, Dominic, just everybody on SmackDown just got such a reaction. And then, of course, we can talk more about certain reactions at Backlash. But Puerto Rico was a party, and that was so much fun. And again, it makes matches that are good. And then it makes the great matches fucking fantastic when you have a crowd like that. So those are the things that you wish that you could do or see more of, because I guess if it happened all the time, it wouldn't be as special, but it was a lot of fun. Definitely.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I think like with these bigger events, like obviously you still want to go to the major US cities, but I like mixing these in because it gives this show, like this has always been a tough premium live event to sell after WrestleMania because it's obviously after WrestleMania you have the cool down, but this helped make it. And talk about crowd making a match better. Well, this match fucking delivered, and it was a little bit of a road game for Bianca for really the first time we've seen her in her run, getting heavy boos. And I'm curious to see, obviously, like we're going to make the Cena comparisons because that's the thing. I don't know if we're fully there yet. I think it's more of that. I think we're all just ready for EO, and we've been ready for EO. And this crowd proved that they were someone who was very, very versed in terms of like wrestling and like these superstars. And EO is obviously someone that we love on this program. I think she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. And she was finally getting a chance to showcase here. So I'm going to pause a little bit being that Bianca's going to be full Cena, but we knew the longer they keep this reign going, the likelihood of this happening was always going to happen because it always happens with babyface champions. But so that obviously was a little bit different for watching Bianca wrestle to a bunch of boos. We haven't seen that to NXT, but this match was fucking awesome. These two had bangers in NXT. They had a banger in Puerto Rico, and they probably couldn't have started this show much better than they did.
I think you're burying the lead because Bailey was the superstar of this matchup for obvious reasons.
Well, keep it in
She
your
had a
pants,
lot of
Adam.
holes, and
Because
who the
she
fuck is
certainly
Adam?
didn't. Ayo!
She clearly didn't have pants on. That was like, did someone take scissors to those things, or did she lose a bet? Did she buy him at fucking?
She might have bought him a couple sizes too small, and that thing just blew him up.
Blew up. Good God, it was. I sat there and I'm like, this match is fantastic, and then that happened, and I went, wow.
Yeah, but I will say this though, because obviously I know why people love that, but this match was so good, and then the stupid bullshit damage control run happened. I just was like,
no, I know.
This match was so close to being perfect, and obviously, yes, I know why they have to do it, and I'm excited for the storyline that is coming because it seems like it's going to break EO away from them. More on that maybe later, but it just like it kind of like deflated me a little bit because I was like, man, this match was so fucking good. If there was ever a match I just want to see like end clean without anything, like this would have been it. But whatever, it still was an awesome match and was still a great way to kick off the show.
I think here's the thing about WWE, and I think this isn't surprising to anybody that knows us, but it's weird where it's like they're gonna run it back anyway because they know it's a good match. So by having it tainted by not having a clean victory either way, they can go back and be like, well, it wasn't a clean victory. And I think that's what they get into a habit of a lot of the times, where there's a DQ account out or somebody costs something like that, is because in their mind they're gonna have to revisit it because these two women are just too good not to go back and revisit it and maybe have multiple matches in a row. So I thought this match was great. I loved seeing Bianca Belair in that element because we know she's universally loved, at least we thought. And
I mean, I still think she is. Again, if
think,
this was a Bianca Bailey match, I don't think those boos are probably happening. I think a big part of it was EO.
The other thing too was like even after the match, they gave her her flowers, which they should have because that was an incredible matchup. I would even go as far as, and this is the part where people are gonna throw fucking shit at me and tomatoes and all that shit. I thought personally that this match was better than Charlotte Rhea at WrestleMania. For me, it's really high up there.
I have to watch them back to back, and the only reason I don't know if I do that is because of the damage control running. If there was no running, this might have been it. But it just, when you do something like that, it always drops it a little for me.
I think
it's just like,
I think for me, I'm willing to drop it a little bit, but then add a little bit because the crowd was so bonkers for it. And then there wasn't like, not saying that Charlotte and Rhea didn't deliver. They absolutely did. But the crowd,
are you a shovel shamer right now?
No,
I'm shaming the shoveler.
I'm just saying, if we're going to be honest here, that I think that match, the crowd made that match, like I said, a fantastic match, fucking fantastic match. Like it just made more. So I'm really excited for that. And I just think it was an amazing contest between two women that deserved the time. And they got time too. They got 18 minutes on the dot. So, I mean, that's incredible. Incredible.
Well, yeah, because the other way you spell Bianca is banners. She's had nothing but banners since she's been champion for the most part. So, and we know EO can fucking bring it. So, no doubt there. But next up, Nestlemania, we have another absolute banner. We have the Giant Omos taking on Seth Rollins. I enjoyed this match. Again, like, I watch these Omos matches, and I know people love to shit on them because, like, oh, slow, he's a big guy. I'm like, what do you expect from a guy that big? I appreciate these types of matches because I like seeing a guy like Seth Rollins, who we know that can do literally anything, have to do things a different way. It was the reason why, like, as much as I like to shit on Nia Jax, like, some of her matches, like their match with Bailey in NXT, there was stuff that, like, it's something that you don't normally get, and it puts your like top stars in a different situation. And I love seeing Seth have to like battle that giant and get creative with how he was gonna have to finish him off, and having to do like the elevated curb stomp and do all these other things because of a lot of his regular bullshit doesn't work in a guy that big. So for me, once again, I think we had another Omos match that was well above average. And you know what? Homo sapiens rise, baby.
So I was just literally about to come out of my mouth with this question, and Guthrie beat me to the punch. So Guthrie, my buddy, is
Guthrie's in the chat.
Guthrie's in the chat. Our boy, the big man. If Omos doesn't start winning, how are we supposed to take him seriously?
I agree with that. So I nominated him for Jobber of the Year already.
I would say I tend to agree with that because this is my logic. Is again, we've talked about this constantly because it seems like he loses in the big moment, but he also kind of just all he does is beat jobbers. At some point, he has to do something else, and him being a free agent will be helpful.
Let's look who he's lost to in the last like year. Lashley, Lesnar, and Seth. Was there anyone else? I don't think so.
He lost to Brock, right?
Yeah, Lashley, Lesnar, and Seth.
But has he had any other matches in that?
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. It's like they don't. That's the thing with him is they only put him in big matches, and it's against the top stars who he's most likely not going to beat So it is a weird situation for him where like he really right now is the jobber to the tippity top right now. Like he gave Seth a big push before they give him the Cody fucking title
Consolation,
there,
yeah.
the consolation prize. He elevated Lashley we saw last year and all that stuff for WrestleMania. And obviously he gave Brock a win on his belt when Brock really hasn't had much of a win because he just took another loss, which we'll talk about later. So it's a weird thing with Omos. And it's just like, that's why I think this random thing they do with him, it's just like, he's either randomly going to be on the show and squash a jobber or someone like Mustafa Ali, or he's going to randomly fucking be in a match with one of the top stars and put him over on pay-per-view. It's a weird situation that we don't normally see, and it's very unique to him. For sure.
I will say this much, and I've done my research on him, and I saw a couple interviews he's done and stuff, and he was talking about different things. Like he took some moves from the Undertaker in this matchup because this was the longest Omos match I think we've seen. It was 10 minutes or over 10 minutes. I could go back and clock it if you want me to go look at it, but
yeah.
I mean, he did a couple Undertaker moves. He did a couple different things here and there. A lot of big man moves that are, the quintessential kind of big man moves. But the other thing too, that like I saw an interview that made me perk up my ears, and I was like, holy shit! And it made me watch him like really with a fine tooth comb or just like with like binoculars while I was watching. Was he said, what did you learn from AJ Styles? And he was like, what didn't I learn from AJ Styles? Well, the one thing I did learn more than anything was just have that pit bull mentality and that viciousness that you need to have when the red light turns on, and just how you have to sell things with your eyes. And the minute I saw him walk over that top rope, I saw his eyes change and I went, okay, so he's trying to put the puzzle pieces together. And for that, I will be an Homo sapien because I will look at that and go like, okay, clearly the guy doesn't have all the pieces of the puzzle together, and nobody really does. Very people do, very, very minimal people do. But when I watched him, I went, okay, this guy's kind of a diamond in a rough. They kind of don't know what they have with him yet, but he does. I agree with Guthrie. He does need a signature win.
I agree.
That doesn't have to be a championship. It just needs to be an outright victory that is definitive. Like if he beats a Cody, or if
I will say this, I
something like
see
that.
Guthrie put it in the chat, and the chat is he did have more than one match with Lashley, and I think you're right. I think he beat him at the rematch in at whatever, so that would be like his quote unquote one signature win, but that obviously was over a year ago now. So we're at the point now where. And that's why it's interesting because I like it's one of those things like we saw that all this stuff floated out because we still don't know Roman's opponent at like whatever the fuck the Saudi show is called. Was it Night of Champions?
Night of Champions.
And
yeah.
I saw the Omos thing be floated out, and I was like, honestly, as a one-off, if you're gonna do that match and you do it in fucking Saudi Arabia, I don't give a fuck. Who cares? Like it'd be something to be interesting, but it's obviously I don't think they're gonna do it because it doesn't have the momentum, and Omos has literally 0 wins. But it's one of those things where it's just like. I agree. They do need to find him a few like bigger wins, so then they can maybe use him to like
then lose again.
Spots.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because that's the equation. You get a couple of wins so you can lose to somebody else. Like that's the equation you need to have. But no, again,
did he beat Braun or Braun beat him right when they finally fought?
I think Braun beat him in was it a cage? I feel like
something
it was a cage.
Like that.
It was
yeah,
something
yeah,
weird.
Yeah.
No, that was a Saudi one too.
That I was gonna say that was the
Saudi one.
match. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just I don't know. It's hysterical to me, but it is what it is. Moving on to the next thing, the triple threat match was only 6 minutes and 30 seconds. I did not see that coming. Being so quick. Again, a good match, but it was one of those things where I couldn't really give any more information on it because it was so quick. Super quick.
What bothered me about this match is I was excited for it when they booked it because I wanted to see Theory with these two fucking behemoths. And I've kind of been coming around on Bronson Reed because I think he's finding a little bit of something here that he can take advantage of. And obviously we know like Lashley's amazing. But what completely deflated the fuck out of this match for me was the fucking draft, because there could have been a world where I could have talked myself into Bronson Reed winning, but by him getting drafted to Raw and Theory in the US title going to SmackDown, I was like, well, that's not happening. Then I'm like, well, Lashley's probably not going to win because he's probably the closest thing to a Roman opponent they have right now, potentially. So he ain't going to be carrying around the American flag title again. So it's just like, it kind of like killed this match for me because I'm like, well, this is just a Theory retain with the big men slapping each other's meat a couple times before, they're on their ways in the draft. So that was my biggest issue with this, is the draft just completely killed this match.
No, and that's, again, I completely agree with you, but there's other things in play here where I was just thinking there's got to be other people who are going to take that United States Championship away from him. So
yeah,
these aren't the people that are necessarily ready to go. Is Theory becoming the king of triple threats? Guthrie asks.
He's in a lot of them.
The first banger. I mean, honestly, that Survivor Series one might be the best. Like I said, in the last 10, 15 years, that was the best triple threat match I had seen in a long, long time. I think you're right. I think he's good. He's good at being a sniveling little shit and not having to do all the work.
It's
So
an
in a
easy
triple
way
threat
for
match,
him to retain, like steal a
yeah.
win, and like
And
guess what? He's in another one on Friday.
is he really? Okay.
Well, it's
Well,
the fucking this bullshit
oh
tournament, which
yeah, yeah, yeah,
we'll
yeah.
get there.
Okay.
We're in pocket backlash though. We're positive right now.
Positively. Speaking of positive, let's move on to the
Oh,
next match. Zelina
my
Vega
heart,
takes
my
on
cortisone.
takes on Rhea Ripley. So here's the thing. I would not grade this as a good match, but
I don't care about the match.
I would grade this as a fucking awesome moment.
Oh my god.
You know?
I didn't watch this live, but I watched it later, so I kind of like was aware and I had watched the clips before. But like watching this, like I couldn't help it. Like I was feeling the emotion. And someone like Zelina, who we know has been grinding, who like does work really hard, and maybe like she's obviously very, very small, and that's always going to work against her. And she's always facing a monster like Rhea. But for her to be able to have this moment for her career, someone who was like pretty much like was going to be gone from the company and then come back, and to have this moment like there, I just like it was so fucking cool. And this is one of the big reasons why I love wrestling, is because you get these types of moments which you can't really replicate anywhere else in any other medium or any other sport or event or something. It's just so unique to wrestling, and it makes it so fucking cool. And yeah, like the match, like it was what it was. Like I think Zelina has some cool counters to some of Rhea's power moves, which are pretty cool, but like we knew what this was gonna be. But that fucking moment, that entrance, like them announcing her, like it just like everything was like mwah, was perfect.
I mean, the part where she got the shoe or the sandal, excuse me, from her
That was
mom, like
great. Yeah,
I just started dying. I was like, what a great little gag. There's so many things in that match. I was like, Zelina needs a lot of work in terms of the wrestling, but in terms of like creating the moment, I was so happy that she got like that's something she can take to her grave, and she,
forever. Yeah.
and I think she earns it, and by far earned it. I mean, it doesn't matter. She earned it, and I think that's a wonderful moment for her. And so, kudos to her, and hopefully she gets something out of it going forward. But we'll see. We will
Hey,
see.
she's with the LWO. She's going to be on TV every week. So
Right, of course.
all right, Nestlemania, it's time for the main event, or what should have been. We literally talked about this.
Yeah.
It was incredible that there were two matches after this, especially one that was really fucking useless. But I mean, I just the Bad Bunny entrance just by itself. This was like a fucking live concert on steroids. Like it wasn't just a wrestling entrance. It was honestly one of the coolest fucking things I've ever seen. And if like I think it's in the pantheon of all-time greatest wrestling entrances of all time, because it was just like so unique and so fucking special. And obviously this entire show, the crowd was awesome, but like it was just like, holy fuck. Like this is like, it's one of those things where like, obviously, like, I don't think either of us like listen to a bunch of Bad Bunny music, but he legitimately is like the number one freaking artist in the world. And the fact that the number one fucking recording artist in the fucking world, one of the most famous people on the planet, is coming to WWE to fucking wrestle and fucking take the spots that he's taken is literally unfathomable. WWE got this fucking gift from the fucking gods that fell into their laps. And I am so glad they took full advantage of it by doing a fucking show where he's from, having him be the centerpiece of it. And you know what, Nestlemania? I'll say this about the match, because I'm sure you're going to be a fucking little bitch about it and have things to complain about. Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest is currently my 2023 match of the fucking year. This match was awesome. I loved all the bullshit that happened. I loved the pop for Carlito and fucking Savio Vega. All this shit like was fucking, it adds to it. Because the match itself, I thought still was really good. Bunny did moves that I didn't think he was capable. He took moves that I didn't think he was capable of. Damian Priest, deservedly getting his flowers now. We've known this guy is fucking good, and he performed at a top level. These guys have amazing chemistry, but all the run-ins and all the bullshit and all the extra gaga that we love so much, this was the match of the year.
We do love Gaga. We are Lady Gagas. Like we just love this shit. Let me see what Guthrie says before I get on my fucking rant here. You can't have Bad Bunny street fight with no blood. Main event over Brock and Cody, which
Guthrie's clearly never watched AEW, where they bleed randomly throughout the night.
The placement of the match made sense, is what he said. So,
in retrospect, it did not. On paper, I can see why you would think that, but watching the show, it did not, because this was the high point.
I tend to agree that they needed to end the show on this, because I think it was such a fucking high that afterwards, everything after that just seems like an afterthought, in my opinion. I mean, that was just
The
taking it
match
in.
directly after, yes. I still thought Cody and
The
Brock.
match after, I thought Cody and Brock could have happened anywhere, could have opened the show personally. I
That's
mean,
what we thought it would be.
I thought it should have been because that like maybe they weren't confident. And again, I'm not taking anything away from Bad Bunny. I'm just saying maybe they weren't confident that this match wouldn't have delivered in terms of what the two people had to do. The other people moving objects did a great job as well.
I will say this to give Guthrie credit. I think what he said was probably WWE's thinking going in, because on paper, what Guthrie said makes 100% sense. But after watching the show, that does not make sense, is what I'm saying. So again, I understand why they did it, and I think Guthrie's train of thought was like, I think that can be a correct train of thought going in. But in retrospect, having watched it, I'm sure they were thinking too, like, yeah, fuck, we fucked this up.
I mean, I tend to believe that if you wouldn't be able to have blood at the beginning of an event, though, like you need to have the blood at the end, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Again, watch an AEW show, they fucking bleed whenever they want.
No, I mean, John Moxley sneezes and he bleeds.
Yeah,
exactly.
Just,
so I mean,
hey, you know what? We'll get there. Let's get through Bad Bunny first.
Yeah, but so I just wanted to straight. So I came on this program and I talked about why a street fight is important for somebody that's not a wrestler. It's a way to hide the deficiencies, and they had 7 people help them, and that's great because Carlito looked fucking yoked, and then fucking Savio Vega looked fucking great, and it was awesome. And of course, a street fight does a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of good kendo sticks. There's a lot of good stuff. What are you looking for?
Oh, I'm just laughing at you trying to fucking defend your shitty takedown.
No.
Because here's the thing, Nestle. They had a fucking banner before anyone ever came out. So.
No. I think the thing that there was, so that I agree with you, but there was this one part that made me like kind of giggle, like me specifically, where it was like all that fucking shit was happening with the LWO and Savio Vega, and they're like fucking, they're down the aisleway, and then they just fucking cut back to them, and they're like, and then they started wrestling again, and it felt so cartoonish, which made it funnier to me. But again, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed everything about it. But again, I stick to my point, which was it took fucking 7 people to make this guy watchable. So I'm just trying to say.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm just saying.
Just it's okay, Nestle, to be like, you know what? Bad Bunny proved me wrong. He did a really fucking good job.
He did. No, here's the thing. Honestly, though, he did a fantastic job. However,
awesome.
I will say this much: it's a dance. Like, Damian Priest deserves same amount of credit as Bad Bunny.
I agree. And no one's that's my biggest thing is like, yes, Damian Priest, again, he deserves it all in the world. He's a veteran, he's the guy, like whatever. But it's one of those things, it's like it's a two-way street. Like, this was Damian Priest's best match ever, too. You know what I mean? So it's just like Bad Bunny brought out the best in him, and he brought out the best in Bad Bunny. And obviously, Damian Priest, we know he did a lot of the work and a lot of things, but he's the professional. That's what he's there for. And the fact that he did that and proved that, I hope now they give him something for himself because he deserves it. And honestly, we were very high on this guy when he initially got called up. He was a guy that we talk about those NXT call-ups. Like, him and Riddle were guys that Vince figured out and they succeeded right away. Whereas there were people in NXT that maybe weren't as successful. So we know it's there with Priest, and I hope now after this, now that everyone's kind of seen what he's capable of, that he can kind of get his own now.
So this is the part of the conversation. I don't know if we want to talk about it right here or if we want to talk after Backlash, but I feel like this is appropriate, so we should do it here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. To you, who is the best celebrity wrestler ever? Is it Bad Bunny?
After this most recent performance, ever so slightly, I'll give it to Bad Bunny. Maybe it's recency bias because Logan Paul's right there too. Like these two guys have done in the past year, 2 years, however long they've been around. Like any other celebrity wrestler, like the bar was here. Bad Bunny and fucking Logan Paul took it to the moon, baby. But you know what? I as of this moment, since Logan Paul hasn't yet had a match of the year and Bad Bunny has, I'll give it to Bad Bunny by the slightest of little bunny hairs.
For me, I no surprise here. I would give it to Logan Paul, but
yeah, Danny called you to be on the show. You're a bunny shamer.
I'm a bunny shamer. Exactly.
We got the receipts from 2019 or whatever he found.
Yeah, I know, right? I love that he's such a detective. It's great. No, but the thing is like, here's the thing. Before these two, I would have given it to Mayweather because that match with Big Show at 24 was the best celebrity wrestling match I had seen. And that had a lot of gaga and street fighty kind of stuff too. But then like, you'd have to go as far back to Mr. T in terms of like the irrelevance of doing something on television and stuff. So like Bad Bunny is great. For me, I look at it like this. Bad Bunny is the best babyface celebrity you could ever dream of. I mean, the man's literally the most popular thing in the world. A Pat McAfee. So look, here's Guthrie brings up Pat McAfee is in the conversation as best celebrity wrestler too. So here's the thing. I would put Pat at 3. I would. I think here's the thing about Pat McAfee. He's great athletically. He's great on the microphone, but there's a hint of he's just clunky enough that I don't think he's as athletic as a Logan Paul, and Bad Bunny being a little clunky too, but I feel like it adds to Bad Bunny in a way. I don't know what happened with JC there. Hopefully he can come back. But it's just hard to think about different things like that. Cause for me, Logan Paul is definitely way better. Way better. I don't know what happened to you there.
You like froze on my screen. I have no idea what happened either.
Okay.
But no, I think to your point, I think that Logan Paul is so incredibly fucking smooth. Like he looks like he's someone who he picked it up. We've talked about him being a natural. And I agree with your point about Bad Bunny, where obviously he isn't as smooth as Logan Paul, but with his body type and the type of like style that he's adopted, like as a wrestler, it fucking works for him. So they're two different types, but I think they're both amazing. And that's not to say like if they didn't exist, we'd be talking about how Pat McAfee's the greatest celebrity wrestler ever. But it's just the bar has been raised the last couple of years, and I think that's really fucking cool because you found 3 guys that are not only willing to put in the work, willing to learn and willing to listen and willing to go to their fucking training facility and fucking train with people for weeks to figure it out and prepare. Like that, obviously, like Floyd Mayweather probably never did that. He probably showed up for 5 minutes and Big Show was probably like, oh yeah, hit me like this. It's like now, like these guys are they're like running the ropes. They're doing all this shit. They're learning the basics, and that's really cool.
No, I tend to agree, but I think it's hard it's almost like 1A and 1B with Bad Bunny and Logan Paul. But here's the thing. You can't put them in a match by themselves.
Not yet, Nestlemania, but there's going to be a point where you need to call for it. And
I don't think that's a good idea.
You know what? No, you know what? I bet they'll deliver because you as a Bunny shamer, I understand. You got to live the gimmick, but not like tomorrow, not at SummerSlam, maybe not even at the next WrestleMania, but I think there will be a time where you have to put them against each other. The hardest decision for WWE is just going to be who the fuck do you have win?
Look, I'll tell you this much now. If that match happens, I don't care what anybody says, like, oh, it could be great. Here's the problem. In my mind, on paper, it sounds like a fucking disaster because here's 2 people who just don't fucking know how to put it together. And I think that's the hardest part.
Again, these are 2 people though that have learning and picked it up faster. So maybe by that point, especially Logan Paul, who's really like, he's getting to the point now, he's becoming more veteran. If he signed another deal and he continues to work, like, there could be a world where he could. I think it's
a terrible idea because again,
of course you do because you hate fun.
No, I'm not. I just think it's a bad idea. If it's a quick match, fine, but don't put it in there for 10, 15 minutes because they're going to be exposed for what they both are. They're just inexperienced. That's all. They can
choreograph the fuck out of that match like they do with a lot of women's matches, and it'll be just fine.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Just for me, you need a professional in there to make sure that these 2 get where they need to be. That's all. That's all I'm saying. All right. So anyway, we had that fucking barn burner. And then we had the fucking 6-man tag. You know, I'm allergic to 6-man tags. Basically the only highlight here is that Usos, kind of did their business, but Solo almost killed Jay with a thumb. And that's pretty much it. And you're saying it's left the Dolphin with that big yell.
I just like this match. I mean, granted, the card placement wasn't great, but I am just so disinterested in Sammy and KO's right now because they're not really doing anything except for being annoyed by Riddle, which, I mean, again, that just doesn't feel it. And then the Bloodline is just, here's the thing. Big Dog's going to show up on Friday and we're going to be like, oh my God, this is so great. He's so amazing. Oh, this is great. But that doesn't erase the fucking time I've had since WrestleMania to be fucking bored stiff by this shit. And that 6-man tag, like, it was crazy. Like that, like the crowd just, this was like the low point for them too, which obviously you're going to have a letdown after what you had, but it's just like, man, with the amount of talent you had in that ring, I don't know. It felt like it didn't need to be on the card to me. And that is concerning.
Well, like, I think I tweeted out, it was funny how this became the let me up match. Like this was the piss break. And I'm floored with just that the Bloodline was the best thing going. And then literally
there's so much talent in that match.
Yeah. I don't know. It drives me insane that it's turned so quickly. It's soured
Well,
beyond.
you take out the main character. What do you expect to happen?
I don't know. I, it's it's hard because it just keeps going, and I think we've talked about this. Sometimes
Yeah, well,
things just need to end.
Roman said it was in the third inning, but again, baseball games are too fucking long. That's why they tightened them up. And also, it's like literally, I'm gonna keep calling it. The
Well,
bloodline became The Walking Dead, figuratively and literally.
I will tell you this much: like a pitch clock, we need a Roman clock. He needs to be fucking clocked in to fucking show back up to the fucking mound quicker than fucking 8 weeks. That's what he fucking needs.
Hey, he's on his island of relevancy.
Yeah, island of relevance. Yeah, here's another thing too. Can we, if he's in the third inning, can we call a goddamn rain delay? Like this is fucking too much for me.
Just cancel the game. No,
cancel the game.
Didn't make it 5 innings. We're done.
Exactly. Yeah, it's fucking whatever. It's just we're done. We're done. Let's move on to the next fucking subject. But then we get to the fucking main event, or part 2 of the main event, as they said, a double main event.
Double main event.
So this one was 9 minutes, I think, is what it says. Let me double check here. 9 minutes 40 seconds, and I'm getting rid of that. There's so much that I could say about this match, but
say it, coward.
So I'm curious your thoughts about it, because again, you're gonna eat everything that comes out of Cody's ass. But
yeah, because Cody's the best thing in wrestling. But
he shits rainbows to you. So
no, but I will say this: I enjoyed this match. I don't think it should have main evented, but I enjoyed it because I don't really have. There's not too many Brock Lesnar matches I haven't enjoyed, even when people got sick of his shit. Like, I always enjoy Brock Lesnar matches. So that's number 1. Number 2, I don't think Cody's capable of having a bad match to me, because he's so fucking good. And if he fucks up, he like makes it work. So it's that combination already was good. I was interested in this because we had never seen it. And I was so watching it. I was like, oh my God, if Cody loses, like, what do we do? But the big thing to me, and this is why, because I know you hated the ending. I didn't hate it because it like caught me by surprise, but I have a couple reasons why I didn't hate it. And number 1 is Cody's big thing was like, I need to win this match to finish the story. And his focus has been on finishing the story again, finishing the story. But the reason why you're upset is also the reason why it works, because he was so focused on just win, baby, and finishing the story that he didn't think about that on Monday when he went back to his story, that he didn't fucking kill the Beast, even though the Beast fucking Goldberged himself on the turnbuckle there on purpose, which was great, by the way. We can get into that in a minute. But it just like, to me, like, that's the storyline here, is Cody was so focused on winning, he didn't finish off the Beast, and that's his mistake, because Brock doesn't go away. Brock came back, and now he has to beat him again in Saudi Arabia. So I will say the Kimura thing, though, I thought it was kind of cool, because obviously Cody hit him with his greatest hits. It didn't work because it's fucking Brock. He's a beast. But the reason why I liked it is because it was Cody just trying to get that win. And Nestlemania, I will say this. I hope to God none of us ever get put in a real life actual Kimura, because your arm breaks like instantly. And when you're in that situation, you just want to end. So the fact of like, if he couldn't get out of it, then yeah, if you can roll and pin and get out of dodge, you fucking do it. Because if not, your arm's going to be detached.
Okay.
It's true. You ever been in a Kimura? A real life Kimura, not a wrestling Kimura?
No, I have not, but
you get that shit in MMA, you tap instantly, because if not, your arm's snapped off.
I understand. The thing that I would say here is I think it's not on Cody or Brock at all. For me, it's more of what the writing was for this lead up, where they kept calling Brock Lesnar a coward. And then he fucking rolled him up, which again, I don't have a problem with, but he ran out of there like, whew, got a win of that one. I just feel like in terms of it's a cop out in terms of the writing. I don't necessarily blame either person. I think
they worked it to their advantage, though, was my point, because on Monday they made it a point of commentary to say like Cody was trying to finish the story, that he didn't finish the Beast, and that backfired because now it cost him his fucking story again.
I think that's a leap.
I think that's part of the story. No, but I think it's part of the story, and it made sense because again, I didn't hate it when I saw it. When I saw him do it, I'm like, okay, good. They gave it so like the little doubters like Nestle, like they have a reason now.
So here's the other thing too, is like now you're okay with him losing to Brock because there's going to be a third match?
I'm not okay with it, Nestle. I hope he 3-0s him like you did fucking say.
No, he's got to lose once.
I agree. You have him losing fucking Saudi because it's fucking Saudi, and they run it back at SummerSlam, and then woo! You distracted Cody for 6 months while Roman fucking jerks off on his island, and Seth wins a fake title, even though he's going to be number 2 in his show still with a fake title, because Cody's up here, the guy who 3-0'd him. Then there's fucking Seth with his little consolation prize ribbon participation trophy title.
So here's this is a bonus hope for me, but like this should be my hope, but I have another hope that I just kind of chuckled at when I thought of. But this is the thing that I want. I want him to lose. I want Cody to lose to Brock Lesnar. So it's 1-1. And then I want him to go into Money in the Bank try to fucking win. Brock fucking takes it away from him and like continues the story of like he's almost there, but he can't because he can't shake the fucking monster. And then you go to fucking SummerSlam because I think if Brock is still in the way for that 6-month period, it's at least interesting to me because
is it interesting though? Because it's very repetitive. That's the problem.
Here's the realization is that Cody Rhodes needs to not be near a championship until he faces Roman again. Like I think that's what the story has to be.
Yeah, the problem is, it's like it just devalues it all. That's why, again, just to go back, like it. Just,
here's my main gripe though, and here's the thing that people, especially you, because you're gonna get butthurt by this, but it's just here's the honest truth: where Cody needs to start losing. If it's gonna be, if he's not supposed to be a champion until he beats Roman, he has to start.
But if he starts and goes on this losing streak, then it's just like you just reset all the momentum. And how does he get back there and be believable? Like that's like the ultimate.
But how
like,
much adversity can you have if you keep winning, but not winning the big
again?
one?
Like adversity thing is so fucking stupid because he's gone through literally all of it. And
no, I'm
like,
saying
now,
no. I'm
now
not
we're just
that.
filling time till Roman decides to defend his title again at WrestleMania.
I'm not saying he hasn't had adversity. I'm saying in terms of like what he's done in WWE, yes, he went through an awful torn pec. That's a real thing. But since he's been back, he's been white fucking hot. So it's like,
except for he got fucked by the Bloodline at WrestleMania.
But
There's your adversity. Solo Sikoa is his goddamn adversity.
Okay,
wait,
so maybe
other show.
Maybe, but I'm just saying he's had it pretty easy because he's been a top star since he's been back. That's
because he is a top star.
No, I know that, but sometimes even top stars like Seth Rollins and other people, they fucking take an L and they're fine. Like Seth Rollins, we've got to a point with Seth Rollins where he can just fucking lose and come back the next night and laugh and it's fine.
But think about it. We're also talking about when he wins the title, it's going to feel like he's fucking third fiddle and whatever. And just so it's like, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough because the Roman situation, it just looms over everyone and it makes everyone less than until he loses. And it's tough because when you're trying to build up someone to beat him, like obviously Cody's still the one that makes the most sense, but we've talked about it over and over again. It's just like, yeah, we can give him Lashley, but we know Lashley's not going to beat him. Oh yeah, AJ, that'll be a cool match and feud. No, he's not going to beat him. And then like Seth is always kind of looming there, but he's never really gotten there. And now they're going to give him another. I don't know. Everything about it is stinky. I hate it.
I mean, I just think that Cody has to lose at some point. He has to.
He should literally continue to beat everyone except for Roman Reigns.
No,
100%.
No, I just
he should fuck this shit, man. It's just so dumb. Beat everyone except for maybe Omos beats him.
Fine, you're okay with that.
Homo sapiens rise.
That's the dumbest thing you've said all night.
Brock. I hope he fucking Seth wins the title. Cody takes it from him, but then he hands it to Roman because he's like, I still can't beat you, Roman. So you might as well have this title too. So when I finish my story against you, I get all the titles.
I don't want to talk about this anymore, but it's Guthrie here. I want to read what Guthrie said here. He was the top-notch production team. They could have put together a career package of highlighting Cody going through adversity. Stardust was adversity. So look, I tend to agree that Stardust was adversity, but he doesn't want to talk about Stardust. So I mean,
yeah, but he pays homage to it.
No, I know in his own way he does, but it's just, I think here's the thing. Like if he's got to work for it, he has to lose. Like there's no shame in losing. Like
there is a fucking loser if you lose.
No,
there's shame in losing. Damn it!
He doesn't have to lose clean.
Well, yeah, that's what happened at WrestleMania. The fucking tribal cuck had to cuck and cheat his way to fucking victory. Like he's a fucking loser, and Roman hasn't won a match clean in forever. And Baron Corbin should be champion instead of him because he's the last person to beat him. And and Roman couldn't cheat then.
I just think that to me, I'm going to get fatigued if Cody keeps winning and doesn't challenge for a championship. That's to me is ridiculous.
I know. And that's why, again, they put themselves in an impossible situation where no matter what they do, they're taking an L in some capacity because there's no like good way to do it for a fucking year. And then literally like the worst thing you can do is add another fucking title to the mix because now that's out there too. And it's on his fucking show. They put him on the show with the consolation prize. So again, how do you keep him away from it? But also it's like instantly devaluing whoever is champion because Cody was taken first. Cody's the fucking biggest draw on the show. So it's like you already have a mid-card title with Gunther and now you're going to have a second like some better mid-card. It's such an impossible situation that they put themselves in. And no matter what they do, there's going to be parts of it that aren't well received because I don't think there is a perfect solution. It isn't.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Does he find a way to go to SmackDown?
Well, here's my other point, and I was going to save this for the World Heavyweight Championship talk.
Okay.
But if say Seth somehow doesn't win it, if Edge wins it, they could. Do you do a thing where you trade Cody Rhodes? You have to trade your top pick to get Edge in the World Heavyweight title to Raw. It'd be dumb, but like that's something that like you could do. Because honestly, when I'm looking at it, it's if you're in again, we'll get to this when we get to the heat, but like including the fucking SmackDown roster and the fucking Raw exclusive title was dumb to begin with. But if the only way you can make me kind of believe it is if like you convince me that you would trade Cody for Edge in the World Heavyweight Championship, and that gets Cody away from it, and then you have like a legit veteran who you believe could possibly maybe beat Roman and Edge's first. I don't know.
I think the thing is if you bring Cody to SmackDown, then you have to address the conversation right then and there. You can't just wait.
100%. It's an impossible situation.
Right.
Again, it's just like Cody should have been. You can't even make him a free agent because they go over.
No, right. And so Danny Grimwood says Cody wins Money in the Bank, easy way to SmackDown. I tend to agree with you.
Are we finishing the story at Money in the Bank then?
So here's my question: is if Cody Rhodes wins Money in the Bank, why would he hold on to it and wait? Right? Like he would want to get rid of that thing as quickly as possible.
You have to have him announce it as the main event of SummerSlam. He gets fucking screwed out again because he's like every other fucking person that we wanted to win the title with Money in the Bank. Like Money in the Bank is just for the men. It's just like you lose when you cash in at this point. As we've seen, at least it won't be on a mid-card title for him, we can hope. But I don't know. It's tough because Cody winning Money in the Bank makes sense, but it also makes a ton of sense for him to get fucking screwed out of Money in the Bank. So it's just like
I just think there's more money in him losing. And you're gonna sit there because you're gonna get fatigued.
No, here's the problem because you say there's more money in him losing. Like storyline wise, maybe you can convince me of that, but I'm not. But like, there's not more money in making him weaker when he is the top draw in the company. You want him to look like fucking Superman out there with his fucking American Nightmare cape because he's the reason why a lot of these shows are fucking selling out instantly because the fucking Cody tour right now is still red hot. He hasn't fizzled yet, so you got to ride that fucking choo-choo train until it fucking fizzles out because there is an expiration date on everything. But he's fucking red hot, and how long can you ride it and fucking profit off him? He's the gift that fell in their lap out of Tony Khan's fucking white nose there. It fell out of his nose into their fucking lap when they had the part-time champion that they could have fucking Cody go around as their white fucking booger sugar knight. A gift from Tony Khan to main event everything when Roman's not there. They got so
Cody Rhodes wins Money in the Bank, then goes on to SmackDown, and Roman announces he's pregnant with and hands Cody the title. Oh, that's funny.
I like that. That's good.
That's funny. Yeah, that's not gonna happen either. But god damn it, it's fucking hysterical. Like, but we've talked about it. It's just, I think
there's no right solution. That's why we're dealing with this, and we're trying to throw things out. And this was my big thing at WrestleMania when it happened. It's like we're gonna be fucking talking ourselves in circles, trying to make ourselves feel better, try to find solutions to make us feel better. But it was just like
it's bad. It's just
they fucked it up. They fucked it up, and it's now we're dealing with it, and it's a long road.
And they're screwing him too because the minute he wins, it's like it's too little, too late.
That's again, I said like the moment will never be as special as it would have been.
Nope.
So
I tend to agree with you. We should probably get into the rest of the show because we are 45 minutes into this program.
Yeah, well, you'll see how much I have to talk about the Shine.
So do anything else in the Shine?
Always in the Shine. Mandy Rose doesn't work there anymore. I will say this. These are my quick shines of the week. I like seeing Imperium messing around with KO and Sammy. Too bad they got fucking beat immediately, and I guess that won't be a feud, so maybe not shine. My favorite part of the weekly shows this week, on not including SmackDown, so pretty much Raw, was I enjoyed the Becky Trish segment. That was it. The rest of Raw, I really didn't enjoy, for being honest.
Okay, that's fair. Totally understandable.
Did you enjoy Becky and Trish? I thought it was good. I think Becky and Trish.
I mean, right they used the HBK Bret Hart thing from way back in Montreal. So
Trish is a damn good heel right now too.
She is a good heel. I think that's the thing. She's a very good heel, very watchable heel. And Becky Lynch does what Becky Lynch does, and clearly the crowd loves her. So I think it's a match made in heaven for those two. So hopefully it's not Damage Control. So I can't really complain too much about it. So I'll leave it at that. I will say I kind of loved little things here and there. Sorry, Guthrie's comment.
Don't say the name. Don't say the name because it's not going in the Shine.
Oh,
it's not going in the Shine, Guthrie.
Oh man, I feel like
maybe that individual will be a comeback, Guthrie.
Oh man, I don't know. Do I do my man dirty right now? I don't know. I
Yeah,
like.
no, because you want to have him like it's. I'm telling you right now, that individual that he was referring to is either in the heat or the comeback, so he cannot reveal at this time. You know, that's a tease, Nestle. That's how you keep people engaged.
All right. Anyway, so I'll say this much. I think the whole tournament design with the triple threats was interesting to me,
I hate it. You like
but
that? I
I
hate
think
it. Just have fucking singles matches. Like the
here's
NXT Women's Tournament is way better. I hate the fucking triple shit.
here's the reason why it happened. So Cody didn't have to take a pin.
100%.
That's the 100%. The whole thing. The whole
100%.
thing. The whole thing.
It's also, but this is a Triple H thing though, because that's always been his thing. He
Yeah.
loves triple threat contender matches, but as a tournament thing, I don't know. It makes the tournament feel rushed. That's my biggest. We're like in the heat pretty much.
And I just wanted to say very quickly that I think that Dom needs to invest because Xavier Woods called them dum dum. If Dom doesn't start eating
That was a
dum
good
dums, if he doesn't start eating it or using somehow merchandise like lollipop dum dums as a dom dom, I think that's a missed
Well,
opportunity.
did you see Rhea's butt? It said Dom Dom on it.
Yeah, I know. I saw
Loved
the
it.
whole thing.
It's great.
We should just get into the heat. Go ahead. It's fine. Get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. This is where Guthrie's ass might pucker a little bit, but go ahead.
Well, no, I'm gonna start with this fucking stupid tournament. Why the fuck is half the fucking tournament SmackDown superstars fighting for a goddamn Raw title? It makes no goddamn sense. No goddamn sense. See what I did? I didn't even do that. Just coming out again. Seth was on my Fab Five list to possibly win it, but these matches were so predictable. We knew Finn was gonna win because Brock was gonna cross Cody, and we knew Seth's gonna win. There was just no surprises here. So I hope on SmackDown we get surprises. Again, the matches were fun. There was nothing wrong with the actual matches. I love the callback and Seth Finn in the main event, but it was just one of those things where it was like I felt like I could just simulate the show and I didn't need to watch because I knew when it was happening. And that's okay sometimes, but it's just, I don't know, they have to do something with this title to make it interesting, and just going with the fucking generic route to do it isn't great. And it just, I don't know. This shit, it's so weird.
So I don't understand this completely, but I did read somewhere that if you believe everything you read, the reason that SmackDown is a part of this tournament is because this week is very big. I don't know if it's sweeps or if it's just a big week in television for upfronts or something, where they thought that Fox needed something because this week wasn't going to be good enough, which is why it was included. Now, again,
Roman Reigns is coming back. That should be enough.
No, I tend to agree, but I'm just saying I think they thought that was going to drive things home. So that is the given
That's a
answer.
fucking really shitty reason to have a turn. Like you can't tell me that this title is exclusive to Raw and then announce the goddamn brackets and have it be filled with half the fucking SmackDown roster when you just did a fucking draft. Oh my God. They can't get out of their own way with fucking dumb shit.
I think it's hard because they can talk themselves into being logical.
100%. That's why it's stupid, because it insults our intelligence.
I mean,
I'm insulted, Adam.
Who the fuck is Adam?
Yeah.
Look, so since we're in the heat, this stuff, like, I felt so bad for Dana Brooke. I don't know if you saw, she like put up her goddamn hand and
hey,
buddy,
he said it to me.
Oh my God, like that was like
hashtag give Dana Brooke a chance.
Oh my God, that like hurt.
They gave her a chance. They let her face a champ.
I hate invisible things like that are invisible to me, but then like you see it later and you're like, oh my God, it's all I'm looking at, and then it's just like, oh God, that's embarrassing, and I hate that's like cringeworthy. Like I can't watch embarrassing comedy sometimes. The other thing is like, so they have the jobber alert, which again you expect, and then Natty comes out and you're like, first off, she was going to SmackDown, and then you're sitting there and you're going, and then so like poor Dana Brooke is in the fucking double ankle lock, and fucking Natty's walking like she's just like slightly miffed, and then she's just like and I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, she clearly doesn't give a shit about Dana, and I was just like, she's sitting there, and so all I could think about was, what the fuck is going on? And it's just like, okay, I'll let it go. Oh, you could hurt me. And I think Natalya, although a Hall of Famer in her own right and has done so many great things behind the scenes and has helped so many women, but there's just like, in terms of like what the character Natalya represents to me, is just like, you might as well just say next. If that's all you're saying when you parade Natalya out.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. You need a couple next, especially for Rhea. And like, I mean, the Zelina moment was amazing, but like that was a next too. But it's like there is a way, like, Natalya is really good, and I think they can have a good match. And I think it's a way to get Rhea one, but it's just, you're right. There isn't any meat on the bone in terms of a feud. The nice thing working for Rhea is that she's involved with Judgment Day, and especially Dom, so she could fight fucking Towel, and it would be interesting because of that. So sorry, Natalya, I just called you a towel, but you know, it is what it is.
I mean, her in a towel. Not gonna hate that.
Tyson Kidd.
I like Tyson Kidd.
Fact.
Does anybody care about Natalya anymore? I mean, her and Dana in one night is tough, says Bertsky. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. But I will say this much. She needs a tomato can or 5 before she racks up some victories here. So
I have a transition, Nestle.
Yes, go right ahead.
You know how we get one person to care about Natalya? Because in the draft,
here we
Raw
go.
drafted a future Natalya tag team partner in Zoe Stark, who made her debut, and she makes her debut on the main roster in the Heat, Guthrie, because, you know, she's just mad at Nikki Cross and they had a match. But you know what? Her and Natalya showing up in the same week. We know Natalya always needs random tag team partners. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, huh? You know that Spider-Man meme? Natalya and Zoe Stark? Amazing workers, boring characters? I think they're a perfect tag team.
I feel like I should send Guthrie the video link so he can come on the podcast at some point just to defend Zoe Stark.
He does it well enough on Twitter. Honestly, Nestlemania, I want to bring this up because I literally go on my timeline, and because Guthrie must engage in like so many fucking Zoe Stark posts that this shit just shows up in my timeline for like the 5 fans that she has. Just pop them in my timeline with this fucking praise. And sure enough, it's either as a Guthrie reply or a Guthrie Roy Hartford like this. I'm just like, you know what? Zoe Stark should fucking buy him a ticket because the amount of work that he is putting in for his girl, I respect it. But it's one of those things like, fine wrestler. I'm just not. The character isn't better, sure. But you know what? She's just new Natalya. So put him as a tag team.
I will say this, I'm not going to win any brownie points with the big Guth here, but every time I see Zoe Stark, I see a squirrel in her, like her face looks like a squirrel. Like
I don't see it, but
every time I see it, her cheeks just like they're filled with nuts, chestnuts, of course. And then and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, and again, amazing worker. Like, I'm not going to say the in-ring work is bad.
It's not. It's good.
But the woman needs a personality transplant. That's what it comes down to, unfortunately.
And I'll give her credit. She's trying. And I get it. Like, I think it has gotten infinity times better.
Yes.
Her real works, but it's one of those things. Like, I look at her and just watching those segments, I was like, oh my God, she's literally new Natalya.
This is when I know Guthrie's trying to get me on his side. Von Wagner and Zoe Stark.
Well, I saw this thread, and he said like it just like he was calling it like I was just like looking at that. I'm like, nobody wants that. You can't combine 2 things that 2 people like and just that everyone else like. And by the way, also Von Wagner gets drafted to the main roster as a free agent. But what show was he on this week, Nestlemania? NXT still.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was on NXT in a backstage segment with your buddy Stone. Like, so okay, like what? Like, I don't. That just. There's the draft. There's so many things about the draft. Like, looking back at it, as fun as last week was, because we got to do a show breaking it down. Looking back, it's like, man, that really fucking doesn't mean shit, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I mean, they might as well just be like, pay no attention to any of this. Just fucking tune in 3 weeks from now, and it'll fucking make sense. I don't know. I just the idea of people getting drafted to shows is just, it aggravates the fuck out of me. So again, you know what? As much as we make fun of Zoe Stark because we love giving Guthrie a hard time, Von Wagner is fucking like, he might as well be on a milk carton. So, you know, the poor bastard. I mean,
Tuesday.
If what it was gonna be come Monday, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
If
he's coming every day of the week, baby. Even fear.
He's coming. Oh God. If Zoe Stark looks like a fucking squirrel and Von Wagner looks like an HGH fucking caveman, like, I don't know what the fuck. Like, have you seen his fucking chin? His fucking forehead just protrudes. Like, it just looks like if Edge was fucking pulled in a Mario Party mini game. Like, it just fucking doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Honestly, I talked about Zoe Stark and Natalya being the perfect tag team. You know what would be Von Wagner's perfect tag team partner?
Dolph Ziggler.
Lars!
I forgot about Lars.
Lars was your last session, and then he like was a weirdo, so they fired him. But it was just like literally like
Oh
Von
my
Wagner is like
God.
he's Lars, but with better handle on
No,
the English language.
no body hair. No body hair. That's for
Oh,
sure. Oh, we got way off fucking topic here. Oh my
I
God.
mean this week beside after fucking Puerto Rico, like this just like it
This,
was just
yeah,
such a weird week. I will say
it,
my last bits of heat to address, like, because the rest of it, whatever, you can bring up if you want. But my big, another big issues that I have is that, like, we do this draft, and this is like week one of the new draft, but we haven't addressed the women's titles at all. When the SmackDown Women's Champion is defending it on Raw, and the Raw's Women's Champion defending it on SmackDown, they haven't addressed that. And also, we have this thing where we make it a big deal that we address Roman having double titles. We have to make a new one, but they haven't addressed the tag titles at all. They're still carrying around their fucking 50
they don't know.
Exactly. They don't have a fucking clue. But again, that's fucking heat because the draft is supposed to reset things. You're supposed to have shit figured out, and they're just like, don't look over here. Don't look over here. Look at this shiny new toy we're gonna give Seth Rollins. I don't know, dude.
I think it's hard because you would assume they're going to do the handoff.
I just want them to because it makes everyone so mad. And I literally don't care. But the reason why I think they're putting it off is because I think they're trying to pad these Bianca stats as much as possible on the Raw side. But it's just like, I don't know, dude. Just fucking change the names. It's just like make them the women's world,
the world title and the WWE title. Yeah, I know.
World and Universal. It's easy. Yeah,
it's very easy here. Yeah, I mean it's not great, and I think that the longer this goes, the more people are gonna get kind of whatever. I'm gonna go through some things real quickly because it's a lot of things we got to get to, but that's whatever. I'm gonna go on SmackDown very quickly because this shit is kind of like all over the goddamn place. AJ Styles on commentary during a Vikings OC match. Oosh, that was rough. And then of course we're gonna go down here with Cross and Nakamura. I thought this was Cross's okay best match. But again, it's
okay.
Cross.
Best match. Really singing his praises there.
I mean,
really?
I'm trying. It is the shine. I mean, in the heat, excuse me. And then of course we'll move on to Raw, where a lot of things was kind of a head scratcher for me. We get Cody to do a promo, then he comes out and then he leaves, and then it's just like the other match.
That was weird.
It was fucking like I get that he's putting
he's
putting
the
it over.
Fucking face of your show. That's why they do it. But it just
I know.
Have his match first, but they wanted to do the Seth thing. It just
It is what it is.
Can't get out of their own way.
And then of course we get Otis and Ali jobber alert happens all the fucking time. I can't
free
believe
agent Ali with the big win.
I know,
for the
like
free agent brand.
Like who gives a shit? Whatever. And then of course
Maxine looks great though.
Well, yeah, obviously, but that doesn't matter as much. And then of course,
it matters to me.
Well, okay, great. I will say this much: like I cracked up for certain things, but then like you get to the end and it's like, okay, Miz and Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm like, I don't care. Like I just need.
Really, I think they kind of have a fun little back and forth.
I just don't think it works for me, so I'm just out of it. And then of course, like I'm like, oh my god, Jinder and his goons are on Raw.
They're
like,
coming.
They're coming. I'm like, oh god.
Not the Von Wagner.
This is yeah. It's with an O, not a U. Just remember, you can't come with you. You can come with yourself, but not a U. Anyway, Jinder and his goons. This is totally a JC thing. When I saw it, I was like, he's gonna fucking love this shit. Like you love big overgrown goons. There's 3 of them. They're gonna fucking do something in the mid card.
Except for like this time, they actually have Indusher. I mean, I don't know what happened to Shanky. We know what Shanky is. He's just like dancing like in the back somewhere. I completely forgot about the guy. I don't know where he is.
That guy has 4 left feet. I mean,
maybe he's the female hacker that's attacking people in the NXT parking lot. Yeah, that got Ali all fired up because this is gimmick. I don't know. It's fucking this shit's weird, man.
All right. Anyway, let's move over to the hope because we got to get fucking things moving.
Glorious. You're my only hope. I teased it. I'm going to keep it simple. Nestlemania. I've seen enough. I've been trying to rack my brain of who should win the Women's Money in the Bank. And they fucking showed me in San Juan, Puerto Rico, baby, that it should be Io Sky. She makes a lot of sense. Hey, she'd be really fucking fun in the ladder match. So, yeah. And then I think this is an easy way to, at some point, get that damn title on her and make it make a lot of sense. And, you know, whether she's a heel at that point or if she finally turned her babyface, doesn't matter to me. Io Sky, Miss Money in the Bank. Hashtag JC's hopes come true. Hashtag JC knows. That's it.
No, that's it. All right. I like that. That's new. We should do that every time. Mine's very short-term hope because I just saw this backstage on Monday and it made me go, oh, this would be, to me, I think this would be glorious. No pun intended. It'd be fun. So you saw, yeah, no, thank you. Anyway, we had the complaint department doing a petition about trying to be tag team champions in the women's division. And all I could think about was, man, Sonya Deville and Chelsea are really fucking fun. Like, they're just hilarious. And they're kind of like, they're doing a great job. but I was like, I don't really care for this fucking Liv and Raquel versus them kind of thing. You know what I want to see? I want to see the complaint department not get another title match and then fucking have to have a feud or get squashed by the fucking Voodoo Girls from NXT that are coming up on Raw. Like, I think that feud to me would be a fucking great way to get Alba Fire.
Well, they're on SmackDown, I think.
Are they?
I think so.
Oh, god damn it.
But it doesn't matter. Women's tag titles can go on either show. They have to set even though they're the NXT champ. Don't look over here.
Give them whatever. Like, move somebody to whatever show they need to, because these two teams need to fucking fight, because even if it's 10 seconds, having the complaint department versus the weird fired voodoo chicks, like, I think that just writes fucking awesomeness everywhere. I cannot wait for that 3 minutes to happen, because it, like, watching Sonya Deville leaves Chelsea alone to get lit on fire, or like Chelsea being like just like put into some voodoo trance, like, it's just gonna be fucking great. Like, I love the Gaga, and this is where, when we're not taking women's wrestling to the next level yet in terms of tag teams, like, this is the perfect example of like, well, this is a great way to get somebody over. So I'm excited for this CD level feud when I can, because I love little things like that. So there you go. Want to get your comeback on?
Don't call it a comeback. He's been here for years, to the moon, baby. Cameron Grimes is officially on SmackDown and Nestlemania. He's got himself a match on SmackDown this week against free agent Baron Corbin. You know, obviously they're two JC guys, so first and foremost, but we've been waiting forever for Cameron Grimes to literally just come back, and mainly it was because we knew he was getting called up, and they're like, we'll just put him off TV for 6 months. And yeah, it's here now. He's back. We know Cameron Grimes is damn good in that ring. We know he really found a fun character. And I honestly think him and Corbin is a fun little mixture here based on their gimmicks. So I think they can play a little bit into that. And I think in the ring, it'll be a banner. So Cameron Grimes get my comeback, and I'm very excited for Friday.
Yeah, when I saw that, I thought, we've talked about the Baron Corbin equation, small dude versus big Baron Corbin. It works. So this match will absolutely be it'll probably be a 3-minute squash, but it's fine. I don't care.
I think they're going to have more than one, though, too.
I think that's probably
they're going to make a little story out of this.
I mean, we have the money issue, I would assume.
We got the money, and we go to the moon.
My comeback, I can't decide, so I'm going to let JC pick. I either can give it to Savio Vega or Carlito, because either one, I popped up my pants for both of them.
I mean, Carlito is one of my favorite characters, like, ever. So we're going to talk about fucking Carlito Nestlemania. So give him your goddamn comeback.
Okay, I'll give him my comeback. But I just special mention to Savio Vega, because that man means a lot to Puerto Rico. But Carlito looked yoked and looked ready to go. So that does beg the question, JC. Do you think Carlito is ready for another full-time run?
I think he'd be a fun addition. Obviously, I don't think he's come back and winning championships, but I think he'd be a fun part to maybe like a stable or something, or like a hand. I think he can still probably do in the ring. He looks the part for damn sure. And it's one of those things like, you know what? If WWE doesn't think they got room for him, I would be okay with someone else signing him too, because you know what? I've seen enough to know that Caribbean Cool and his fucking Apple can be on my TV any day of the week.
You know what I just thought of?
Let's hear it.
Okay. So let's say he doesn't go to WWE and he goes to AEW, but he's Carlito Caribbean Cool with an Apple. There's another guy in AEW who has an Apple, and his name is QT Marshall. I cracked myself up. It's like just the idea.
You know what, honestly, though, when you were saying that, what dawned in my head is like, I need an Orange Cassidy Carlito feud.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
What Orange Cassidy could do with that fucking Apple, like, that's a pay-per-view worthy match.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I mean, any Orange Cassidy match is pay-per-view worthy because he's the best star they have. But like, oh my God, I need that now. I need it.
Orange Cassidy just being like, taking the apple and putting it in his pocket would be like, and then like a Carlito trying to
bites it, he just goes, and the apple just like falls out of his mouth.
Or if he just drools out of his mouth, like
just drools out of his mouth.
It would work. It would work. So yeah, Carlito, give him a fucking job. Like, let's fucking go, because it's just, he deserves it.
He looks great.
Okay, time for the big old finish.
We'll go rapid fire through SmackDown and Raw. Nestlemania. SmackDown, we talked about Grimes and Corbin. We talked about the Tribal Cuck actually returning. We also got a Women's Tag Team Championship match. Liv and Raquel defend against Damage Control of Bayley and Dakota. Who you got?
I mean, obviously, you know, Damage Control should lose.
I agree. I hope Io costs them too. Let's get that train to moving. Then Nestlemania, we have the 2 triple threats for the title of the other show, but we're doing it on this show because the draft doesn't matter a week later. Lashley, Theory, Sheamus, and also the match that has the internet coming Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all the way up until Friday. AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, and Edge.
I mean, it's a chafing is what's going to happen. People are going to be chafing after this match. The other match I couldn't care less about. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I don't think Theory's winning that one. I would imagine
it's going to be Lashley versus Edge or AJ. Is my guess.
I don't think Edge is the right answer. Personally, I don't think Edge is.
But here's the thing: I think
it's AJ Styles.
Edge, I think Edge is fighting at like what you want to call it, crown jewel. I think this is an easy way to do it. Edge Seth like finally finish that off. AJ Seth
they did a Hell in a Cell. How much more do you need to finally settle it off?
I know, but it's also
that was
like
a feud ender.
We agree we're not doing Lashley Seth part 80. Which kind of sucks for Lashley. But again, I think Lashley, here's the other issue is like, I would love Lashley as a Roman challenger, but fucking that pay-per-view is like so close. I want a feud between them. So I don't know. I'll pick Edge. I'll pick Edge over Lashley.
I kind of feel like the dark horse here is Rey Mysterio reinvigorated with the LWO.
Rey Seth? You think that's gonna be Saudi?
I think that's a decent, I mean, it's believable.
Who does Rey beat in the main event then?
Rey beats It's Lashley.
Theory, Sheamus.
Oh God. Can see, I don't know if Bobby can take a pin right now.
So who costs him? And then you make a feud.
Is it Roman?
Roman normally doesn't.
Or is it too similar to Cody and Brock?
I think the problem is Roman doesn't seek out opponents. You know what I mean?
No, okay.
So, I mean, maybe I guess you could send Solo to send a message. And
you know what? You've made me think this over way too much. I'm gonna go with Lashley winning the whole thing. I don't think
Lashley versus Seth part 80.
I think so.
What a bad pick. You're not fun.
I mean, I want Rey because I feel like Rey's the one that deserves it the most. Personally. Yeah, that's what I think.
I want it to be Theory to watch the internet burn, but we know that's not happening. We go over to Raw. Gunther, we're making his Raw debut next week. He is back from his honeymoon. We have the Miz versus Shinsuke Nakamura, which you shat on. Shame on you. And then we have, spoiler alert, a women's tag team title match. Chelsea and Sonya getting the match against the winner of Raquel Liv and Damage Control, which I assume will be Raquel Liv winning all these matches because they are my fighting champions, baby.
I mean, tag team champions need a pulse, so yeah, let's let them win a couple ones, and
they're fighting every week. I think again they're a good tag team to have those titles for now until we can get them Ronda and Shayna back, or maybe the Fire Girls.
The Fire Girls, the voodoo,
the
voodoo bitches, man. That finish, by the way, holy god damn it,
it's good. They're fucking real. They are like if you have not seen Alba Fire and Isla Dawn wrestle, you are in for a fucking treat because Alba Fire is one of the best women's wrestlers on the planet. Period. And Isla Dawn is one of the best young women's wrestlers on the planet, period. And they're together as a tag team. They have a lot of chemistry. They have a great gimmick. They're really fucking good.
I mean, I don't know why they don't call it Fire by Dawn or something. Like it just there's something like voodoo something. Like these women are just fucking incredible. Like I'm so excited for them. I think they're awesome. I really
curse them because I fucking love them. And I don't.
No, I'm not. Listen, I am not taking ownership of anybody ever again. Ever. Okay? There will never be another Nestle person.
For Von Wagner.
Von Wagner is the tombstone that is the Nestle person. Like, it dies. There is no more Nestle guys. There is
here's the problem because we're gonna go to NXT here quickly, and because we have the women's tournament, and we already know that we had Tiffany. She had an epiphany in advanced, and I believe who beat Kiana? Lyra Valkyria. But next week we have Roxanne versus JC Jane, and then we have Cora Jade versus Nestle stamped Fallon Henley. So you're a fraud. Well, I love Fallon Henley too, but you are a Fallon Henley stan. She is a Nestle girl, 100%. So you have favorites. Poor girl's curse. We know Cora Jade's gonna win, though. I hope Cora Jade wins this whole fucking tournament.
Cora Jade needs to win. It's either Cora
Jade is a champion. I think there's like Roxanne. I don't think you can do a Tiffany.
I think the finals. I think the finals are Cora Jade and Roxanne. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
which to me sucks because Tiffany's doing a great job.
I agree. Cora and Tiff are amazing, but I want to see a Cora title run because I think she's just such a fucking good bitch. She's so good.
If all this tournament happens and Roxanne wins, are you going to be pissed? Because to me, I feel like what's the
This
fucking
is
point
the
of doing all
wrong
that?
word, but I think there's a real opportunity to really elevate Cora and Tiff and let them take this division into the next chapter. And Roxanne is always going to be better at chasing.
I agree. She's very good at chasing. She's a babyface.
Mhm.
Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
I'm still loving the Braun Breaker heel experience, man. Him and Mello gonna probably bang and Lowell. That's gonna be great. But he's fucking like it just like instantly. Anything that people had to say negative about Braun Breaker was like instantly fixed with his heel turn because now anything that bothered you before doesn't bother you anymore because he's a fucking heel. So just like finally, it's fun.
There's been a lot of talk on the internet that Bronzer has been a big deal with Braun Breaker and Cora Jade. So Bronzer Breaker, if you will, using too much of the bronzer.
He did look extra tan this week.
It looked like the man didn't know what sunscreen was, apparently. So
they are in Florida.
Sure, let's just leave it at that. But it is what it is. I'll be curious to see how AEW does tonight because I have a feeling that it's going to be bonkers. I'll be curious.
I hope so. It just is again one of those things like with all the different sports going on right now too. Like people are going to make a big deal about all these shows not rating as well, which ratings are stupid anyways. But like they're going to be low the next couple weeks because they're going up against playoff basketball and hockey every night. Every single show is going to be putting up some of their worst performance of the year. So it makes sense AEW trying to grab one here with a stacked card. I hope they do well.
And we'll be back with a stacked card every single week.
Because I got a fat ass and a bad attitude.
I've never looked at your ass, but I'm sure it's fat. On that note,
so if I came on the show 1 week wearing that shirt, what would your reaction be?
If you buy that shirt and wear it on that program, I will let you pick out my outfit for an entire you can pick out an outfit, and if I can afford it, I will wear it for an entire rest of this prediction year. All right. Hey, oh no, here's a caveat to that.
If anyone has ideas, hit my DM.
Here's the thing.
Because I am willing to pay the fucking $35 shipping included. Okay. Wearing that shirt. I'll wear it in fucking public.
That's the other kicker. You have to wear that shirt in public and get a picture taken with a woman that you don't know. And I will wear whatever costume you want for the rest of the year.
You want me to wear it to work?
No. A woman you don't know. You have to take a picture with a woman you don't know and get her to enjoy that.
I was just gonna take a picture with Cherubin with the shirt on.
No. And honestly, the only caveat I would ask is please no makeup because I'm allergic to makeup. But other than that, I will wear whatever.
I don't want you wearing makeup.
Okay,
It'd be a waste of makeup.
I would, for this program's sake, for the fans, for the people that love us. If you're gonna get me a duster and a cowboy hat or some fucking clown costume,
I'm not gonna get you something you want.
Oh, I don't want the duster.
Oh yeah, you do.
It's summertime. Why would I wear a duster in the summertime?
You want a duster. You want to be Outlaw Adam out there with your.
Who the fuck is that? By the way, the doc says apparently he's got a Stetson cowboy hat waiting for me. So if you don't pick quickly, I'm going to be wearing a Stetson cowboy hat.
I mean,
I
hope honestly,
cowboy Nestle.
I hope you wear a fucking cowboy hat on the show because I will just laugh at you the whole time.
I'll wear a cowboy hat.
I picture you just looking like the most ridiculous human in a cowboy hat possible. When I look at you, the last thing I think is fucking cowboy. So please wear it.
I gotta. Well, first off, Doc's gotta get it to me. Secondly, I'm gonna have to be like JR. Do I put the fucking headphones over the cowboy hat, or do I put? You know what I mean? It's a whole conundrum. I don't know.
JBL takes it off.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to like rock it backwards like this, and then put the fucking cowboy hat on top. So it's gonna be a whole thing. Be ready, folks. If JC doesn't pick out a costume, I'm just gonna do what Doc gives me and give me the Stetson. So on that note. Thank you for listening to my ass talk for an hour and a half. And JC obviously enjoys talking about himself forever, and especially Cody. On that note, thank you for listening to the Jobber Knocker. We'll be back next week with more Jobber Knockery.
Oh!